Hello everyone, and welcome back to another installment of Reagan and Dan's Movie Sessions, the show where we like to rant, ramble, and commentate over some of our favourite movies, and eventually our not-so-favourite movies. I'll have to say eventually, until we actually cover something that we don't like. Which, unfortunately, in the batch that we're doing now, is not the case at all. We're still covering the stuff that we like.
Really like it.
Yeah, my name's Reagan as ever, and joining me on the couch once again is my good friend Dan.
On the couch yet again.
Yet again.
How many commentaries have we actually done now? Because I've honestly lost count. I mean, whether that was the alcohol or...
This is commentary number 6 that we're doing today. We are covering the 2019 comic book movie Joker, seen as the new one's out very, very soon. In fact, by the time this episode goes out, it should be out on the same day. I just like doing it like that.
Timed out very well.
Very, very well, yes. So we're going to be commentating over certainly one of the more controversial comic book movies, I think, in like the entirety of cinema.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, we're just going to get straight into it. Now, you can just listen to us as is if you'd like, or if you'd like to follow along with us, just grab your own copy of the movie, whether it be digital or physical, set the timestamp to 0, and press play now.
So did you see this in cinema? Or
Of course I did.
oh, you lucky bugger.
I was very, very much looking forward to this, even though the idea of doing a Joker origin movie, or even just a film focusing on the Joker, is incredibly ballsy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really appreciated when Chris Nolan did Joker in the Dark Knight, and you don't get an origin for him. Like, he even gives you completely different ideas as to how he became the man that he is.
Yeah.
And I like the idea that it's left deliberately vague, because it kind of works for that. But this movie I do really love. I've listened to a variety of different opinions on this movie. I ended up going to see it twice.
Oh, really?
That was mostly because the day I was going to see Terminator Dark Fate, I decided, okay, I'll kick things off by rewatching Joker, because I'm probably going to hate Terminator.
Just rewatching Joker.
Yeah. I mean, it was a very, very unique sort of experience, and it's not one I've rewatched that much. I think this is maybe only the 4th or 5th time I've seen this movie, full stop. Mm-hmm. It's not the kind of film that you'd wake up to thinking, right, I'm going to go and watch Joker. It's like, you just don't do that.
Do you know what's funny? That's kind of the opposite of me, because sometimes I'm like, you know what, I really just want to rewatch this.
Okay.
Because I think it is still really unique.
Oh, very. Honestly, I mean, even just with the opening, like it tells you everything.
Yeah, exactly. Like the you're not even like 10 minutes into the film, and it just tells you what kind of film this is going to be.
Yeah, I do like the. I did listen to the official commentary for this with director Todd Phillips.
All right,
and even going so far as to reference the sign that Arthur's holding with "Everything must go" symbolizes Arthur as well, like if he's going to be who he has to be.
Yeah, it's almost like a foreshadow, isn't it?
Yeah. Which, again, it kind of tells you they're not just making a Joker film for the sake of it. They've actually got something quite interesting to say.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, obviously we both really love this movie, as we've already said. The film does a really good job, and this is already where some people lost the film. They do a really good job of making you really feel for Arthur.
Oh, definitely. And see, this is what I really don't understand, why people give it a lot of flack with, like, how the character progresses and stuff like that. I'm thinking, honestly, the first time I watched this, I was, like, really near tears, because this poor guy has gone through so much.
Yeah.
Like, even the intro, you're just like, wow, that's a bit of, like, a horrid thing to do.
Mm-hmm. No,
it's just kids playing a prank, but the poor guy...
Yeah. But what I think is interesting as well is that the film is also wise to not make you feel sorry for him for the entire film. Like, you feel sorry for him for the first half.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as he's on the subway and he takes the first bullet, then you start to get kind of scared of him. That shift changes
a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. So you feel sorry for him in the sense that you don't want him to fall to the point of being the Joker, but you absolutely understand why one would. Because
you see why he becomes the guy who he is.
Yeah, and there was an interesting analogy from Chris Suckman when he did his reviews back in the day, and he referenced the fact that the Joker and Batman are both on the same path. They both use trauma and like horror to sort of better themselves. One of them goes the good path, the other one goes the other.
Yeah.
And we don't mind if Batman does it because he's supposed to be the hero. So it's quite interesting, that one.
I'd say I love, like, the laugh.
Oh, the laugh was... I remember reading about it, and I couldn't quite figure it out myself. Initially, I thought, that's such a weird thing to do. Because, I mean, yeah, you've got, like, the Heath Ledger one, which will always come
But I
up
think
in
what makes it more
comparison.
sinister, I mean, I don't know if you feel about it the same way, but, like, you can see the guy's in pain doing it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like a curse, kind of, and I think that's really, really interesting. And again, there are people with this kind of condition, and it's by no means a mockery or anything.
Yeah.
It's, again, everything in this is not like a mockery or an endorsement, it's a depiction and nothing more. But what you do get is the idea that he's got absolutely no help from anyone.
Yeah, and I think that's where you just really begin to feel for the guy.
Yeah.
His whole world just comes crashing down on the guy. Like, he can't get his medication anymore. So this condition that he has, it's like, well, we can't do anything for you now.
Yeah.
And, like, obviously looking for work, tough times in the economy.
Mm-hmm. Like, even just, like, background news about super rats, and I'm thinking, I wouldn't mind a film about, like, a super rat in this universe.
Yeah, I think
I'd
at
be
the
very
start they
curious.
mentioned, like, something about, like, typhoid something.
Yeah.
Like, some kind of flu or something.
Just in general, world's not happy right now.
No.
Because in a lot of ways, what this film sort of illustrates, especially with the fact that Batman's not in it, is really just how we feel people.
Yeah.
Like, it's not saying, anyone with these kind of conditions is going to become the Joker or, like, some sort of psycho. It's just, we really need to be helping people because we don't know what's going to happen if we don't.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like, this could have easily just been the standard, okay, Arthur's just going to fall into a vat of acid and just turn into a psychopath. Like, that's a nice origin, but...
I think it's just too quick of an origin. It's like, oh, he fell into some acid, now he's a supervillain, but this guy's going through absolute hell on earth.
Mm-hmm.
And it's understandable why he's become the Joker.
Yeah. And I like this take on how he finds things funny. Like, you see it a bit later on when he's at a stand-up show, and he's laughing at all the wrong bits. And you can see him sort of like darting his eyes back and forth, being like, why not the people laughing at this bit? I don't get it.
It's like his humour is very different to other people's humour. Like, he's very dark.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix, though, like, even just to focus on, like, the actor, because it's funny how when they announced Jared Leto was going to play the Joker in Suicide Squad, I didn't know a single person who wasn't excited about that.
Yeah.
Because up until more recently, we all thought, he's a really, really good actor. And then we just see this, that doesn't work at all. On both counts.
Definitely.
Whereas Joaquin Phoenix, he's at like he's in the point of his career where he doesn't even need to do this. Like, even watching him in Signs, and he's brilliant in Signs, Gladiator as well. And now here he is playing the Joker, and it's like, that makes absolutely no sense, but also makes perfect sense.
I love this bit so much because it's just the music over it.
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, the score really helps this film.
It's the same person. I mean, I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce her name.
No,
but she
we've already
did the
tried
score
this
for the Chernobyl.
series. Yeah, no, she's absolutely brilliant. Like, she really is. I mean, at times, I think the only criticism I had about the score was I think she was recording the score for this around the same time as she was recording the score for Chernobyl, and you can kind of tell every now and again.
Yeah.
but she's just that talented with the violin, so I mean, like, of course you're going to notice the similarities. I don't know which score I prefer, to be honest. I mean, both are still excellent, and I'm very curious to see what she does for the sequel.
Yeah.
So even just that touch of the card, just like the little things, and then just immediately she's like, yeah, I'm not going to help him, I'm just going to leave him.
Don't even think she gave him the card back as well.
Nah, probably not.
Well, I think I didn't actually notice that. She kind of rolls her eyes.
I mean, we've always seen, anytime we've seen Gotham City recently on film, it has been very...
It's always depicted as like gritty and it's like a cesspit, isn't it?
Yeah, so it makes perfect sense. The Batman would be the one that's in that.
Yeah.
What I do like, though, and this is me just mostly just making like a bit of a comedic joke, the staircase.
Yeah.
There's a staircase very similar to that in Edinburgh.
Is there really?
Yeah. I have joked constantly about dancing down those stairs.
Dance down the stairs, yep, I bet.
I'm more likely to just wander up them like that instead, because I'm just not fit enough to be dancing around. But even I like that as sort of like a visual analogy of like, especially when you see it kind of come full circle towards the end, like he's sort of like pulling himself up the stairs.
Yeah, because you really see him just struggling.
Yeah, and then in the end he's dancing down the stairs. It's like, again...
Like, even just the way he's walking, you can tell he's just...
Yeah.
He's just done.
Mm-hmm. I'm still curious with the name. Arthur Fleck. I mean, there was someone I remember who thought, was it supposed to be a reference to Ben Affleck? Because it's A. Fleck, and I thought...
Yeah.
I feel like that's just a coincidence. That's a bit of a weird sort of thing to do.
That's more coincidence than actually like,
yeah.
What if we did this?
Mm-hmm.
An Easter egg.
And now what we've got is basically Psycho. You've got a version of Norman Bates in Arthur Fleck caring for his demented mother.
Yeah, very similar. I'm surprised I actually didn't make that like connection at first because it is very similar.
Yeah, I mean it's not nearly as like
horror based, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah, we've seen how skinny he is. It's just haunting, frankly. So one of the things I quite like in this, because even though this doesn't have Batman in it, well, it's got Bruce Wayne in it, but it does feature Thomas Wayne.
Yeah.
Who's actually played by, I forget the name of the actor, but he did actually pop up as a congressman in The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, did he?
I'm pretty sure he's the one that's sort of at the bar with Selena Kyle at one point when he's gone missing. Which, that's interesting. But in this one, yeah, Thomas Wayne is an absolute arse. And
but I like that though, because it's like every sort of Batman thing is like the Wayne's always portrayed as like the good guys.
Yeah, which to be honest, even the Batman, which I don't love by any means, we've already spoken about that in the past. At least Thomas Wayne is very much presented in a far more negative light.
Yeah.
Which I like, because if the whole point is like he's supposed to be helping the city, then Batman doesn't need to be there. It's as simple as that, really.
Again, the super rats.
Yeah, the super rats. Now, one of the biggest criticisms I think this film got, in terms of like its lack of originality in places, which I kind of get, is two particular Martin Scorsese films, that being
Taxi Driver
and The King of Comedy.
Yeah.
Neither of which I've seen. So I don't have much to say on that, because I don't know. I mean, I know that's why Robert De Niro is kind of in this film, as sort of like a harkening back to that. Plus, Martin Scorsese was supposed to be an executive producer on this initially, but then stepped away to do other stuff, which would have been hilarious if Martin Scorsese was executively producing a superhero movie.
I'd be curious to see if he took on the director's role of it, like would it be exactly like Taxi Driver, but with a bit of a different cast to it?
Well, that's the thing, because I don't think he'd ever do it, just because if like the whole reasoning was to be more like his older movies, he'd probably be like, oh well, I don't want to do it then. I don't want to be old me. I want to be me. But then I don't know what he would possibly do.
I love it. I think this is like the fantasy sequence, isn't he, where he's just imagining himself like in the presence of Murray Gould.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would also have that with Murray Gould, but this is Murray Franklin, Dan.
Is it?
Murray Gould is the composer of Doctor Who. Yes, Robert De Niro did the theme tune to Doctor Who. He's just that talented.
But nonetheless, fantasizing about being on.
Yes. Which, to be honest, we've all done it. We've all, Yeah,
but I think it gives you like a sense of this guy just wants to live a long and happy life.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's
normal for us to dream like this.
Yeah. He's not from the start wanting to just cause chaos. He just wants to be happy, literally. And unfortunately, he picked Gotham to live in. Which, if you're going to make the film quicker, he'd just move out of Gotham.
It would be a very, very brief movie.
Yeah. Now, that already kind of hints at the fact that, as we learn later on about like his actual upbringing, he doesn't have a father at all.
Yeah.
Well, we learn about the father. I remember seeing this shot in the trailer and just being like, nah,
yeah,
this is...
It's quite awful, isn't it?
Well, it's strange because this is like the reverse of what we expect from a lead actor in a comic book movie. You always expect them to get bigger, not smaller.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure even Joaquin Phoenix recently said, he'd never do this again.
It's mental how they go to such drastic measures to put themselves in roles.
Yeah.
It is dangerous, I think.
Mm-hmm. The one thing I didn't actually comment on, because we were talking about like our thoughts on the film initially, when it opens with Arthur at the mirror, and you see where the lights are in the reflection, it almost looks like the bat cowl.
Yeah.
Which I thought, that's a bit cheeky considering there's no Batman in this anyway. So it's like
it's a little bit tongue on cheek.
Yeah. But I quite liked it.
See, I love how like there's not just like an overbearing amount of light. It's just nice and dark.
The film is absolutely stunning. Like, it really is.
They've just left it like to natural light, more or less. It's like, oh, we've got like the lights on the mirror. We don't really need to do much else.
Yeah.
It's almost like a silhouette.
Mm-hmm.
Like, with obviously the shot you've got now, it's like two silhouettes. Like, you can barely just see them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to bite him in the arse. And again with the laugh.
I know, it's just... It's almost like Pearson.
Yeah. I mean, it is probably my favourite Joker laugh now.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But, there's not exactly much, like, many other options. I mean, I didn't mind Jared Leto's to a certain extent. It's just everything else I didn't like.
Yeah.
Yeah, just even little comments like that was like, yeah, we don't particularly care about you, but you're quite funny, so we'll just keep you around. Like, that's you guys just don't
just
care.
kind of like eats at him a bit, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't have to make sense for it to have happened. So, I mean, the film does do a good job of kind of just making you hate everyone around Arthur.
Yeah, it's everyone who just kind of pokes fun at him, or, well, the start with the kids beating him to death, nearly beating him to death with a sign.
Yeah. Because in a way,
And like the guy's like, listen, I'm trying to help you. No, you're not.
Yeah.
You're just like chewing the guy's
Yeah.
head off.
but again, the weird thing is that if this was him becoming like a hero, this is quite standard. Like they're getting picked on at the start, and then they pick themselves up at the end. It's just Arthur just goes in the wrong direction. So it's not too dissimilar to what we've seen before. It's just, just a tad darker. Just a tad.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, a smidgen dark.
And the staircase again.
And the stairs again.
And it seems like every time you get to it, when walking upstairs, like it's just that much more effort for him.
Yeah.
And checks the mail again, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like he's got this like routine, but the routine is like just killing him.
Yeah.
So you got the apartment block that's barely even an apartment block because it's just. Well, it's a bit of a dump, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's quite weird seeing Deadpool 2's bloody Domino in this all of a sudden.
Oh gosh, it is.
Yeah. It's a real shame she wasn't in Deadpool 3.
No, I don't think so.
But yeah, this was also one of the more interesting inclusions in that this is probably one of 2 times that you actually see the character of Sophie as she actually is.
Yeah.
Because for the rest of the film, it's Arthur's interpretation. Which some people didn't quite like because they thought, oh, well, they've given her like no development. I'm like, well, they wouldn't because we're in his psyche. Yeah, that's just awkward.
Yeah.
I think it's quite interesting that they actually set it in the 80s. I can't quite sure why they did that.
I think it just. I'm not really sure, but it works.
I feel like they probably did it deliberately to sort of differentiate from like the modern DC stuff they were doing. So
definitely.
There's no like people getting confused, which in fairness, they wouldn't usually. People aren't that stupid, I'd like to think. Yeah, anything Penny says is always just about Thomas Wayne, so you already get the sense like, something else is going on.
Yeah. You don't really realise it at first, I think, when you first watch it, but then.
Yeah. I think especially if they're going to keep on going on about him, then it's like, right, okay, something's going to happen.
Yeah, it's like, why you mention him this much? Like, you're obviously hiding something from me.
That little line there as well, where like, don't you have to be funny to be a comedian? Even she doesn't really
believe in his vision, yeah.
Yeah. What's also decidedly more serious than anything else is the fact that you do get the sense that Arthur doesn't even really want to be alive.
Yeah, definitely.
Is a tough sort of like direction to take a film like this. I think that's why people were a bit upset with, I'm not going to say the level of violence, it's more so just the depiction, because it is just taken extremely seriously. Whereas I've seen far more violent films even this year.
But I think it's what this film's about. It's not a happy film.
Yeah, exactly.
It's bleak, it's dark. It's a psychological thing. Like, honestly, I remember the first time watching this, and just when it finished, I was like, holy hell, this is like, what even is this?
But even going back to the fact that if you're going to do that, like, if it's a film about the Joker, you can't do it any other way. I mean, you can make it more. It would be interesting if they ever did a version with like the Cesar Romero version of the Joker from the Adam West series. You could just do it really, really silly. That's fine. But you can take it in a variety of directions. It just happens to be this is how they've taken it, because this is the kind of Joker they want to do. But also, I think even Todd Phillips has said more recently about the sequel that they don't even really think that Arthur's technically the Joker,
Mm-hmm.
which, fine. I don't mind that at all. I don't need it to suddenly fall in line with the comics. I don't mind that at all.
I like it how it's just not straight up copy and paste. It's
Yeah.
when directors have their own vision on a comic based character, that's what I appreciate. But then you always get like the snobs where it's not like the comics, but it's not gonna be.
But in fairness, like this version of the Joker could not be ones that would fight Batman or anything.
No, definitely not. I think it's just it works as a standalone thing.
Yeah.
Like if you put this version of Joker with Batman, I don't really think it would work. But
No,
it's
definitely not.
centered around this particular character. It's not centered around anybody else but Arthur.
Yeah. I would be quite interested to see, like, a version further down the line with, because I feel like if they ever decided to bring Batman in, which, granted, I don't think they ever will.
Mm-hmm.
I think keeping Bruce Wayne, I think, was good enough. I really think that if they did do Batman, he'd be probably even more aggressive than the Ben Affleck one. Because, similar to the Batman 89 film, there is a specific tie to the Joker and the death of the Waynes, which I never liked in the Tim Burton one. That was just silly. I quite like it with this. And now we've got the scene in the
the
stand-up.
lighting and stuff like that. It's not overbearing. It just feels really natural. Like all these lamps on the table and the ones on the ceiling and the walls just feels really natural. You don't ever feel like, oh god, they've got like a whole entire light rig in here.
Yeah. He's just not really on the same wavelength as everyone else.
No, definitely not.
I'm sure there's a line in that notebook you see in a second that is really telling.
I'm sure he like wrote mental illness.
Well,
like joke about mental illness or
Yeah,
something.
that's along the lines like people.
I think that's where some people got a bit like, I don't like it because they're joking about mental illness. Mental illness is a serious thing. I mean, yeah, it is.
But even then, it's not even joking about it. It's just, it goes back to the idea like we really need to be helping people. The worst part about having a mental illness is people expect you to behave as if you don't.
Yeah.
That's quite accurate for some people, unfortunately. So even just the interactions between the two of them, you can immediately tell something's not quite right.
Yeah.
It's not very obvious, obviously, on a first watch. Like, I didn't really pick up on it until when you properly find out what's actually going on.
I remember the reveal of it, and it was just like getting a rug pulled from under my feet.
Yeah.
She wasn't expecting it.
It's just like one more layer of his psyche just gone.
And that's what I really like about this film, like how damaged this guy actually is.
Mm.
And it's not even like in a fun way, like this guy is just, he's just broken. Like, it's just like, feels like everybody's just given up on the poor dude.
So this scene I just find really uncomfortable, which, is the point.
Mm-hmm.
Not just, not him dancing around. That makes perfect sense. It's just what actually ends up at the end. There you go.
Oh, yeah, the gun on the floor.
Yeah, I can remember just, like, my heart just stopped. It's interesting because the kids are still having fun.
And that's just it. Like, what kind of clown carries a gun?
Yeah. And even then, you get the reveal that like Randall has just thrown him under the bus and just lied. So again, no one really cares for him at all. Not really.
I think it's at this point you really start to think, how much more can this guy really take before he actually does something?
I think what's also quite interesting, especially with this scene on the train, it could have easily just been he gets on the train and just shoots a bunch of people. When in reality, he's actually somewhat helping that woman there to a certain extent. Which is probably why the reaction to all that leads to people dressed as clowns and stuff like that. I think it would have been a very different kind of thing if he hadn't done that. Because unfortunately, there's people like that who just exist in this world.
Yeah.
Again, it's just quite sad, especially with him like laughing like that. Because it's like, yeah, I don't want to be laughing, but I can't do anything
Yeah,
else.
it's such like an odd condition. Like, it's a very unique plot.
There you go. So technically, he's helped her. She's gone up and left.
It's like, because you could just do like the really lazy thing, oh, the guy's just like really mentally unwell, but no, you've actually given him a condition that I'm fairly certain not a lot of people would actually have.
It's definitely a known thing, but even I had
Yeah.
to do my research on it prior.
Like, you can see the guy's like getting really uncomfortable with these people who are now just going to start harassing him.
Mm-hmm.
And there's that score again.
Oh, yeah. And now it basically becomes a horror film.
Yeah. Basically the clown slasher.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's interesting is no one really bats an eye to it as well.
No.
Like, it's just like, oh, it's another day in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I love that pattern shot.
Mm.
Just follows him. I think it's at this point where you really kind of think, did he actually enjoy doing that?
You kind of get the sense that initially he doesn't.
Yeah, it's this where he's like kind of looking around really dazed and confused, like, oh my god, what have I done? But then the more he does it, and again, you got the, it's funny with the stairs, the amount of stairs that are in this movie, but they all have this like thing that when he first starts going up them, it's a slog, and now he's running up them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like as if he's just like breaking free of this curse.
Yeah. See, I'm not shocked that a lot of the posters just used bits from this scene.
Yeah. Like all the set stuff for like putting Gotham City is absolutely spot on. Like everything's run down. It's an absolute wreck.
Yeah. It's the kind of thing where
flickering lights, broken glass, cars on fire, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a cesspit.
I mean, even just this sequence with the dance is just
and then you've
already
got that
iconic.
Really, really good score.
Yeah.
Just overture just starting in, and then he's starting his routine in the flickering light. It's just like...
Yeah, you do realise that actually, yeah, I do kind of enjoy this a little bit. Like, it's the first time that you kind of get a sense he's actually quite... I don't want to say happy, but...
Yeah.
Feels more himself. Because that's the thing, I mean, there isn't even like a particularly high body count in this film anyway.
No, there's not.
So even when people were complaining about the violence, like, they're not complaining about the level of it, they're just complaining about the depiction of it, and nothing more.
But I've seen worse.
Yeah, I've seen...
There are films 100 times worse than this, both past and present.
Yeah, literally one of the other films we'll be covering in this batch is far more violent than this. There was a part of me when it got to this point, when he then goes to Sophie's apartment, and the suggestion is this, to have sex, and I'm like, already I've got questions as to what reality this is in, because that just... Especially considering they've only met twice.
Yeah. Be a very, like, quick move, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But again, when you realise that this is just, like, his psyche, it's like, wow, this dude is just broken beyond belief.
See, immediately after all that, he's suddenly a lot more confident.
Yeah.
Which I like.
He's starting to, like, stand up for himself.
Yeah. He's also actually being funny.
Takes punching out to a whole new level.
Yeah. Yeah, just don't smile. Fine, I won't. See that? You've already got the immediate hint of the dance further down the line. Oh, stop talking about Thomas Wayne.
Of all those things, it looks like he's gained weight.
Decent and educated? I'm not quite sure.
Scumbags, more like it.
Yeah. Let's be
See,
honest.
it seems like the classic sort of politician stance in Gotham. It's like the city's become blah 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 blah. If I'm mayor, I'll change it.
Mm-hmm. It's always like, I mean, Gotham's always been depicted as like the rich are rich and the poor are poor. Like, there's no in between.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone should just move out of Gotham. Frankly,
Be a
it's
very
just
different kind of universe,
Yeah.
wouldn't it?
no, it's quite funny. Like, he even seems a little bit happier.
Yeah. You see the change in him.
Yeah. Then people are starting to notice now.
Yeah, but not for the right reasons.
Yeah. And that's just really telling.
Oh yeah,
Just like you stand, questions that don't really care.
you're just doing what the job's asking you to do. You're not actually just going out your way to actually help me.
Mm. And then just like the final nail in the coffin for him is the cutting funding, so he can't go there anymore.
See, even that line, it just they don't give a rat's ass about you.
Mm-hmm. It's funny that rat.
Yeah, yeah, super rats.
Yeah.
It's the super rats who've cut the funding.
Mm-hmm. Bloody rats.
And he's just left to fend for himself now.
Mm-hmm.
Where am I going to get the medication? The one thing that's probably going to stop me from actually causing any further harm.
Yeah. So what I find is quite interesting with this version of the stand-up scene, it's kind of like half reality, half true.
Yeah.
So like the first half, you do absolutely like feel sorry for it because he can't get out like his first joke. But then suddenly everyone's laughing along with him and his jokes, and it's like, nah, that doesn't seem quite accurate.
Yeah.
This is why I never get up on stage. I'd be exactly the same.
I think people just sort of see it as this is like the guy's routine. He just laughs for the sake of laughing. Because I'm sure they like poke fun of it on like a news broadcast or something.
Yeah, that's kind of how
It's like
everything spins.
the guy doesn't even tell jokes; he just laughs.
Yeah, it's probably one of the last times that you genuinely feel for the guy.
And then he becomes somebody else entirely.
Becomes the Penguin.
I mean,
Oh yeah, there is that Penguin series that's out this week, I think, as well.
yeah, Sky Cinema.
I've got no interest. But also, I think for some reason, instead of calling him Oswald Cobblepot, I think he's called Ozcos.
Ozcos.
I'm like,
The
why?
Gen Z Oswald
I
Cobblepot.
was like, if you're embarrassed to use the name, then just don't use the character. Then just do something else.
It's like calling Joker Jock Rur.
Yeah, Jock.
Jock Rur.
Joe.
Yeah.
His name's Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really don't get the sense that that's actually what's going on.
Feels like, yeah, I think you kind of sense the audience isn't laughing with him, they're laughing at him.
Yeah.
It's like the most like horror like depicted clown ever.
Yeah.
Like why would it have like vampire like teeth?
And you're saying that after being well, I say a fan, but mostly a fan of Terrifier. You knew full well I was going to say that.
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
you? Yeah. Looking forward to to Terrifier. Hello.
I think it's even more crushing is when you watch this for the first time, you realize this is all just a psyche, this relationship.
Yeah.
TV hosts and their mottos.
Well, they always need to have one.
Yeah.
Not really a thing anymore. But, well, unless it is, I wouldn't know. I don't really watch talk shows. Though it is kind of funny when you look at like the depiction of that talk show and the ones that you get now in America, and it's like identical. They just have not changed at all. So easily one of the more questionable ideas, going back to the Thomas Wayne stuff, is the brief idea that Arthur's actually
Thomas Wayne's son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, when I first saw that, I was like, that is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I don't like that at all. So, credit on them for not actually sticking through that. And it's like, no, actually, it's just because Penny's actually insane.
It's funny how, like, he isn't just the villain.
Mm-hmm.
Like, anybody could really be the villain. Like, Penny could well and truly be the villain. I mean, Thomas Wayne could well and truly be the villain.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I always like the, in the Flashpoint comic, that version of Batman and Joker is very, very different because it's Bruce Wayne's killed in the alley, Thomas Wayne becomes Batman, and Martha Wayne becomes the Joker.
Yeah.
I was like, that is a fantastic idea.
Alternative universe.
So it's kind of a shame they didn't do that in The Flash last year. I mean, there's a lot of things that it's a shame they didn't do, but...
So when you get shots like this, you just see, like, there's like another little crack in his psyche.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the guy doesn't really know how to compose himself anymore as well.
No.
I'm not angry. I just want to talk.
Yeah, he's also an absolute arse.
Yeah. We were in love.
Yeah.
Such a cliche thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
We were in love once.
God, I hate Gotham. Although I suppose, you know, if you set it in the 1980s, at least you can get away with people reading newspapers.
Yeah. I think when I first watched this, I was like, is he actually going to go kill the guy?
Yeah. So when the first teaser trailer dropped and you do see, like, glimpses of this scene, I think there was a lot of people just under the bold assumption that, yeah, that's going to be Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Which, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't mind the inclusion, and I also don't not mind it.
Yeah. I think it's...
Right,
it's
that little bit with...
Paul.
With the Paul, I'm like, right, that's Adam West. You've actually found a way to honour that in Joker. I like that. Yeah, because there's no way you can have Batman. Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, he just doesn't care.
Kid's like, you got any other magic tricks or what?
Yeah. Yay, a feather duster. Maybe that's supposed to be a hint to Bruce to actually get him to clean the house instead of letting his butler do it.
Alfred do it, yeah. They don't make like a subplot of it though, which I'm
No.
pleased they don't. Which I'm pleased they don't do.
Which, let's face it, they only bring Bruce back at the very end for what they have to do.
Yeah.
Because it's contractual obligation. If you have Kitty Bruce Wayne, oh yeah, we're gonna have to find a way to off the parents.
And I remember watching this and I was like, what a strange man.
Yeah.
God, Alfred looks so young.
Well, I'm British, I don't get it. Because it's like you say with this entire subplot about whether or not Thomas is actually his father.
Mm-hmm.
They do only just stick on it for just a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't change to it at all, which
Yeah.
is thank God.
Mhm.
He's still got some morals, like he knows what he's
Yeah, a
doing is
little bit.
wrong.
The classic comic book movie trope. One of the parents has to die.
Love the cinematography in this. Like, it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
so good.
Mm-hmm.
Never at any point do you feel like, ugh, that could have been shot different.
Yeah.
No, it's just perfect. I just love like the close-ups on Arthur's face, because you're just starting to really wonder what is going through this guy's head right now.
Yeah. See, it's quite awkward now because I rewatched the last Mission Impossible a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the detective on the left, Shea Wiggum, is in Mission Impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Basically doing exactly the same thing, just chasing after someone. I'm like, he can do other things.
This
I'm pretty
detective
sure.
is in a lot of universes then.
Yeah. Shea Wiggum in the multiverse of madness.
Yeah.
Hey, I'd watch it. The worst thing is like he's not entirely lying there.
No, he's not.
No.
I mean, Hoyt just, shoots the guy down.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back to, like, you're a freak, but some people find you funny. Forgot about the door.
Because really, Sophie's character, and at least in his mind, is just there for support.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't got anything else. So I quite like that. It's interesting though because I'm sure she's in the sequel as well. So I don't know what's gonna happen with that. Or we're just gonna see the real version of her. Because I have heard rumblings that like where most of this film is in Joker's psyche, the sequel is in Harley Quinn's. Which I thought, it's not terrible. In theory.
I think this is the broadcast where they show him at the comedy club, and then they start making fun of him.
Oof.
Crisscross.
So that's how he gets his name.
He's really not the hero that he thought he was.
No. Oof.
It's just that close to his face, and the guy is just absolutely crushed.
I could kill again. I could do that. I might do that.
Murder
I'm thinking
is
about
on
it.
my mind yet again.
I'm thinking about
First
it.
it was Subways, now it's going to be on a TV broadcast.
I'd be curious how they depict Gotham in the sequel because I think it's 2 years after, and all we hear is just somehow a really awful city has just suddenly gotten even worse. Yeah, I don't think you're actually going to do that.
No. I feel like the signs just get a little bit morbid and morbid.
Yeah. Well, because I think this is technically the first Batman-related film to be rated R. And I'm like, yeah.
Do you know, every time I see like the masked ones, I always just think back to bloody Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Every time with those blooming henchmen.
Oh, the classics.
Oh, nothing like a bit of civil unrest.
I mean, when does Gotham not have that?
Yeah.
On Tuesdays.
And Tuesdays. Specific days of the week.
Yeah. Well, that was easy.
Yeah, no. Just walked in on a disguise.
Like, yeah, it's fine.
Giving like major Hitman vibes right here.
I do love a good old cinema.
Very posh cinema, this one.
Well, yeah, everyone's dressed in black tie. Yeah.
Even now he's starting to like sort of sway the movements.
Mm-hmm.
Again on the staircase as well.
Yeah, on another staircase. It's like I remember watching that thing and, oh, is this gonna be where both of them die?
Mm-hmm. I thought that at first as well, actually. I thought, oh my god, he's gonna actually like just full blown go and execute them right here, right now.
Mm-hmm. Just like that, he's just invisible to everyone.
Yeah.
I like that touch.
Again, you got like all this like fancy marble and stuff like that, but where he comes from, it's this run down apartment.
Yeah. King Arthur. Oh, a different Arthur.
King
Oh, okay.
Arthur.
I knew it.
See, again, this is like, well, wow, she's actually hiding so much from this poor man. Again, like going back to like, oh, she might as well be the villain, really.
Yeah.
Kind of feels like everybody who's just interacting with Arthur is a villain at some point. Oh, I love that. The guy's just snapping ever so slowly. And even like Thomas Wayne just examining the guy.
Yeah.
It's like, you are just a nutter. And the gold taps and stuff like that, it just really shows like the rich elite of Gotham.
Exactly.
And then back to the rundown apartment.
Mm-hmm. Where it's like, well, I could have a bed. Nah, I'm going to sleep in the fridge.
No, it's just like so weird.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the, like everything else from here on out, it's just like this guy is just not
Absolutely
himself
losing it.
anymore. He is becoming somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
He's taking everything out of the fridge so he can sit in it. Putting a whole of the meaning to the word cool off.
Mm-hmm. I actually remembered that wrong. I was under the impression that like the phone was ringing while he's still in the fridge, and that's what gets him out of the fridge. No, it's not.
Oh. He just does it in his own time.
Yeah.
can't believe I said Murray Gould. God damn it. Murray Franklin. I don't know where the gold part came from.
I don't know, you've just got Who on the brain?
Yeah, clearly.
I don't know why.
No, it's like as far from Doctor Who as you can possibly get.
It was like any villain from Doctor Who where you could do this with. Davros. Every other member of his race is just completely disassociated with him. It's like, right, that's it. I'm turning you all into tanks. Yeah, I can't wait. Yay.
He's so enthusiastic.
I mean, I'm not saying it's obviously a green screen bridge behind him, but it's obviously a green. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist.
Very long bridge.
Yeah. And even little things. It's not Arkham Asylum. It's just Arkham State Hospital.
It looks so modern compared to like what it usually looks like. It's this medieval castle.
Yeah. I suppose, like, outside looks relatively alright, but
Inside, different story.
yeah. Like, I'm sure, like, that scene of the guy screaming on the bed, like, I'm sure that's in Arkham Asylum. Like, the game.
Very similar, like, layout to Batman Begins. I think it's the corridor.
Mm.
Well, obviously you get Falcone and Scarecrow.
Yeah.
Very similar.
It's quite surreal seeing Brian Tyree Henry in this, when in a couple of years he's going to be in Eternals, I think it is. He's also voicing Megatron in the new Transformers movie. I'm like, of course he is. That just makes sense. And even just this sort of revelation of, yeah, I don't actually mind killing those people on the train. Didn't mind it at all.
But now he's conflicted.
Yeah. Aren't we all? Well, I can't say anyone because they've just
Cut all the services.
Yep. Oh, the classic disorders. And then the penny drops. But
No pun intended.
no. That comes in the next scene. He's like the only decent person in like the entire
Yeah, you can really see that he actually feels quite sorry for the guy.
Yeah. Yeah, very Batman Begins with the corridors.
Yeah. I think it's like all the similar like brick layout and stuff.
Yeah.
Very much like it. Didn't really put much of a fight for such a sensitive document, but hey ho.
And just to add to the list of problems, now we realise he's been physically and emotionally abused.
Yeah.
Just one of the many reasons I don't end up watching this film very much, just because it's a very
Bleak. Yeah.
it's bleak. It's just a tough watch, frankly. Which it says a lot.
I think you don't get a kick out of like, wow, I love that because it's so horrible. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, wow, I loved it because it's like really bleak and they did such a great job of actually making us care for a character who was normally villainized to an extreme extent.
Yeah, it's fascinating because when it gets to the point where he does fully become the Joker, yeah, at that point you're not feeling sorry for him at all.
Yeah,
It's just,
I really actually do see why he's become this guy.
yeah, you absolutely get it.
So the guy's literally been made into a monster. Can't blame him.
It's like his entire life, you could just see is sort of like a really taut,
Like what life has
elastic
he actually
band.
had? Like
Yeah.
that isn't life. That's torment.
Mm-hmm.
I love that shot so much. It's like major credit to the cinematographer on this because he's just captured every possible imaginable
Yeah.
emotion here. Not that there's any happy emotion really, but you know.
No, not really.
This is the reveal that all this relationship with Sophie wasn't actually real.
Mm-hmm. Probably, I mean, even with the music choice, it being far more sinister,
Yeah.
you should immediately
It's like
tell
very close to being horror-y.
Mm-hmm.
Like the very stringy sort of like just gives a major horror vibe.
Uh-huh.
And I think you could make this a horror film.
Oh, easily. Even just that line is basically, it's immediately like, right, okay.
Yeah. It's like one of those like gasp situations like
Yeah. Even just that. I mean, you've had a few bad days.
And this is where I felt so sorry for the guy because he's got nobody to actually console with now.
Yeah.
Mother's a liar in a hospital.
Uh-huh.
Not even his real mother.
It's this point in the film where it just becomes scary,
Yeah,
frankly.
unpredictable.
Yeah.
Very unpredictable. It's like, what on earth is he going to do next?
Mm-hmm. It's like,
The
yeah.
world has quite literally crumbled on him.
Mm-hmm.
Now what is his next step? Who is he going to murder next? One thing I forgot to mention is how, like, old school the clown makeup stuff actually is.
Yeah. I mean, I was very curious to see where they'd take at least the look.
Yeah, so with the Dark Knight one, it's just sort of like hastily put on.
Yeah.
Well, this one, it's like it's almost arty.
Mm-hmm. I do quite like the Joker with like the longer hair as well.
Yeah,
But even just the fact that there's no purple coat or anything, there's no purple.
No.
It's just like the face and the hair's Joker. Everything else is just whatever he wants. And I'm like, I quite like that actually. And then you realize, yeah, we know exactly what's gonna happen now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, at this point, you're really not supposed to like the guy at all.
See, he's just become a monster at
Yeah.
this point.
You get it, but
Again, the bleakness of this film, it starts off pretty bleak, and then it's just like, yeah, bleak, but now the volume is kind of a 10 now.
yeah.
That's the thing though, this shot, it looks like he's just relieved.
Mm-hmm. Well, the way he kind of is, because now he can really just do whatever the hell he wants. And what you realise as well, because I mean, we mentioned it before, how he, at times you feel like he doesn't really want to be alive.
Yeah.
His whole plan for him being on that show is to shoot himself in front of everyone because no one else cares. And then as soon as he gets to the actual show itself, you realise, I could do it a bit differently.
Yeah. The act just changed.
Yeah.
Dramatically.
Third act twist.
Yeah. It's like an M. Night Shyamalan film. Well, I wouldn't quite go there, actually.
M. Night Shyamalan's Joker.
God, no.
Well, I suppose Joaquin Phoenix has done M. Night Shyamalan before, so it's not too far out of the realm of...
Yeah, true. so dark, like unbelievably dark. That sink is going to be an absolute tip.
I don't think he cares that much.
No. The psyche is now well and truly fractured.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very, very close before, but now the line has broken.
Ew.
Those taste horrible.
Yeah.
Ugh. I think this is where the detectives rock up, isn't it?
No, it's his other clown friends.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yes, I remember now.
Oh, Gary. Okay, sorry, no, I tell a lie. There's 2 people in this entire city that are actually decent. What a coincidence.
See, even that, it's just like, you're clearly not right if you are just celebrating your mum's death.
Yeah. So even just that look, like, unfinished Joker makeup is just really, really freaky.
It's like a really, like, twisted version of a mime.
Yeah. I mean, mimes are pretty twisted in and of itself.
Pretty
but,
creepy. But this guy, woof.
Oof. Even just that look.
It's like pure and utter hatred.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you throw me under the bus and now you want help.
Yeah.
So I think this is probably the most like violent part of the film.
Oh, God, yeah. Even though the actor Robert De Niro gets a bullet to the head.
Yeah. But at least that's over like clean and quick. This guy just... Oof.
It's because he wasn't a nice person. See, even just that, just like, yeah, I'm on a completely different wavelength to everyone else. Like, I
Yup.
don't really care.
I forgot about like the Cockney the Cockney impression.
I mean, he cares a little bit, I suppose.
Well, that's because he's the only guy who's actually just not made fun of him at that blooming
Yeah.
place of work. See, at this point when I first watched it, I thought, oh, you've just baited him and now you're going to
Yeah.
murder him. Skedaddle. And he's just belting it down the hallway. There he is.
Oh, jinx. I mean, I like the look. I do.
I really like it. I've always never thought that, like, if he falls down the stairs, he'd probably just laugh it off.
Yeah, he probably would. Well, I would have said the music's a bit less sinister now.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, okay, run.
I remember this being in the trailer.
Yeah. I mean, he must be made out of steel, sure.
Yeah. The Joker of Steel.
Yeah.
Not the Man of Steel, the Joker of Steel.
The clown of steel.
The Clown of Steel. You know what this reminds me of, and I hate it that it does. It just reminds me of that blooming bit from Scream 6 when all the ghost faces are on the
yeah.
train. So it's like impossible to identify the guy.
Yeah.
I hated that. It reminded me of that so much.
Well, I mean, both are pretty tense.
Yeah.
I've got to say.
It's not that I'm the hero the city deserves, I'm the clown the city deserves.
That was easy.
I know. Just love how like he just becomes invisible in
Yeah.
the crowd. It's like the clownly camouflage.
Mm-hmm.
Clownly camouflage.
Where are the clowns? Well, they're everywhere.
Bring in the clowns.
I remember seeing the behind the scenes of that, like while like they were filming it, and it was just so confused as to what the hell was going on. You're gonna have to fix your makeup before you actually go on stage now.
I love it. But I love the tear sort of like.
Yeah, which you kind of get in like the first scene
Yeah.
when like he's trying to smile and he's crying on one side, here he is crying on the other. You believe in a few things.
No, it's just a few. Oh, that's his act absolutely screwed then, isn't it?
Yeah, like both of those is just completely wrong.
Oof.
Definitely not clean.
Yeah, far from it. Crisscross.
Joker, it's good.
It's good, I like it.
Just immediately thinking back to the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man film when he's like, "Oh, just call me the human spider," and he's like, "Is that it?" Oh,
Yeah.
that sucks.
The Amazing Spider-Man. Human Spider.
The Amazing Joker Man.
And now for an act you're not gonna believe. Looks like he's got a lot of problems.
Yeah, it's like,
Oof. Murray, you don't know the half of it, mate. See, even like the crew are just like really weirded out by him.
yeah.
Kind of notice it's a little bit similar to the Romero one in the Adam West Batman.
Yeah.
A little bit similar.
Now, if it was like that, he would have electrocuted him then.
I forgot about that. But he's so unlike himself, though. He's just
Yeah.
changed. You're telling me.
Well, I was reading a comic book and there was this guy in it called the Joker. And I was like, I'm not the biggest fan of purple, so I thought I'll just go with red instead.
Purple just doesn't suit me. A cackle. It's like almost like a little cackle.
I was thinking more like what was it? Maybe a bird. I'm just trying to think of a bird. Well, I'm just trying to think of a bird with like a really, really weird. Anyway.
I think the closest thing you're gonna get is like a seagull.
Yes, he's like a seagull. I mean, I don't think the seagulls have murderous intent, but
This is where he like just brings out the quote unquote joke book that's really not full of jokes.
yeah, maybe not that. Like I feel like I feel like Robert De Niro, if he was like that, could actually pull off being like a fairly decent talk show host.
The sad note trombone. It's like it just turns everything into like this morbid punchline.
Yeah. That's the thing is, I guess the whole point of the Joker is like, he sees the world as incredibly hypocritical and then just makes fun of it.
There ain't nothing left to lose.
Yeah.
Why not? It's the fact that like he's just addressing the entire nation here as well. I suppose he kind of has become a symbol, really.
Yeah.
Cuckoo bananas. See, I love that.
Yeah, because he's not wrong.
He's not.
Like, he really isn't.
It's different for the higher ups, and then you just get the common man,
Yeah.
like Arthur.
I don't know. I mean, everyone he's spoken to is pretty awful. That's it. Arthur's just gone.
Yeah, there is
Mostly.
no Arthur.
There is only Joker.
Yeah.
Poor. Like, that was actually really shocking. I did not think that was going to happen.
Yeah, I remember watching that for the first time as well. And
Yeah, everyone else was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Just in case. But I mean, like, he's taking the Scream approach.
Yeah.
Except this time he's not just going for the head at the end, he's just going for the head first. But that was quick.
The news travels fast. But he's not wrong, though.
No, he's not. That's like the scary thing. And that's really what like all like the good villains are. The ones that
Like, actual fleshed out villains. Villains that aren't really necessarily villains. It's just when what has happened to them in life makes them become a villain.
Mm-hmm. And now Gotham's just on fire.
Again.
Again.
Again. Try fix this, Thomas.
If you're not careful, we're gonna get your son to do it in 10 years. And he's gonna
And all it's going to take is your death.
and he's gonna make a complete dog's breakfast of the entire thing.
Dog's breakfast. I'm sure this is where like one of the cops just gives him this line about this is what you've started and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This whole monologue. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Isn't it beautiful? Bloody hell.
I mean, there was no need for that.
The poor cab driver.
It's always the cab drivers. Well, of course, the ambulance crashed. It was driven by a clown.
I think the comical thing would have been if like you had like other clowns come out, like the running joke of like you got a tiny car and there's like a million clowns that come out of it, yeah. But it's just like loads of clowns in like doctors' uniforms and stuff.
Oh man, you
That
said
would
it
have been
now.
so funny.
Well, considering the sequel goes into musical, maybe it'll do it then.
Yeah, maybe. It's like they see him as like the Messiah.
Yeah,
You look at the way they just got him out. It's like the Holy One.
just like, you know, we've all thought exactly what you've said and done. It just took one person to actually do it. Is it even like the Batman does this a little bit with the Riddler?
Yeah.
Like, it's very scarily real. Oh, I was going to say Zorro. Oh no, it's a sign.
The looting and pillaging.
Yeah, just Gotham in a nutshell.
Oh, there they are.
Yeah, we'll go down the back alley. That's fine. That's a smart idea.
Don't know how I'd feel if they did it a different way, where it's not just some random like thug. If it was
Yeah.
actually Arthur who did it.
Mm-hmm. was also quite interesting. I'm pretty sure with the Joe Chill, which it's just this universe's version of that, is always left-handed.
Yeah.
I find that very offensive. I don't actually. Then of course you always have to destroy the pearls as well.
The pearls.
Stupid pearls.
See, when I first watched this, I thought like he was literally like dying,
Well, to be honest, they could have easily done that.
and then he's just watching all this like chaos unfold.
Mm-hmm. I think the score is at its best here as well.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
I mean, when I saw this, I kid you not, I literally went and bought the soundtrack.
Of course
the
you
next
did,
day.
yeah.
Not even joking.
I'm not shocked.
Funny thing, it comes on purple vinyl, not red.
Ugh, God. I mean, they could have at least put it on green instead.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you could probably get it on like other colours, but for some reason it's purple. Don't know why. Maybe it's just like a whole like homage to like
A different Joker.
yeah, I don't know. Strange. Not gonna lie, if I saw somebody do this, I would probably be running very fast in the other direction.
Yeah.
Like stupidly, inhumanly fast.
Uh-huh.
Starts with a smile, ends with a smile.
Mm-hmm.
Phew.
Yeah, no. Like, yeah, you're not even, like, happy from it all. You're just, like, properly scared of him now. At least I am.
I think anyone would be, really.
Good.
Unless you're part of that mob, then yeah.
I can neither confirm nor deny these horrific allegations of me being in that mob. Because, yeah, I don't think the Joker's ever been presented like this before.
No, never. It's always been like just quite mysterious. It's never like a full blown origin to it, which I get why people don't like origins and stuff, but I mean, come on, this is just undeniably brilliant.
I will say this last bit isn't. I'm not particularly fussed about it. Like, I think it's a stronger ending if it ends with him getting cheated on. That's not really a joke, though. No, it's not. I mean, he's probably thinking, like, have I actually now done something to that kid? Like, what's going to happen to him in the future?
Yeah.
Even just that last line, like, yeah, you wouldn't get it.
Just how unhinged he's become.
Mm-hmm.
He's not Arthur Fleck anymore.
No.
There is no Arthur, only Joker.
So you do get, like, the assumption that he's probably killed her, especially with the footsteps.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about the footsteps bit, so I'm like, oh god. Because I'm sure you got like two of the orderlies that just come racing down this corridor.
Almost very Scooby-Doo. There's a little bit of just, like, going down different corridors.
Yeah. You expect like the comical, like sort of like they start chasing each other and there's all this like diddle diddle diddle. There we
Run
go.
away. The end. I mean, that's an ending.
Certainly is, yes.
Yeah, so that's our commentary on Joker. Produced by Bradley Cooper. That's just hilarious. I don't get it. No, yeah, it's still. I don't think I'll be watching this one for a while again.
Yeah, I think it's a film you can't just like rewatch constantly.
No, well, you can.
Well, I can, but that's just because I'm just. Well, I just watch just horrific films.
Yeah.
Just watch movies about people getting stabbed and hunted by masked maniacs. So honestly, this just. Yeah. But no, it's still such a good. I think it's the best DC standalone film.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I think I've deliberately not spoken too much about the sequel, just because. Well, we did that with Alien Romulus, and well, we know.
Well, yeah, I think we know what we're. All we'll really say is there'll certainly be a commentary on that at some point.
Yeah, maybe we might kick things off next year with that. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Haven't quite decided. But yes, thank you very much for listening. Really hope you enjoyed us.
I've certainly enjoyed rewatching this.
Yeah, so have I. It's been a while.
So it has been a while since I've rewatched this. It's got to be like a few years, actually.
Yeah, definitely a few. But yeah, we'll be back very soon with some more commentaries. Do you want to reveal what the next one is, Dan?
Oh, I get the pleasure of doing it. Oh, well, we obviously like our monster movies, don't we?
Oh dear.
We really do. But what if there was a monster movie where a radioactive gecko
Oh, not again.
terrorizes Tokyo again?
Well, luckily, I don't think he actually does it to Tokyo in this one. I could be wrong.
Oh, no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It has been a bit of a while since I have watched it, but yeah, we will be talking about the best Godzilla film ever.
As in Godzilla X Kong the New. No, it's not. It's Godzilla -1. Obviously.
-1.
Yeah, we're doing Godzilla -1, so you can look forward to that. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you then. Goodbye.